Hello, and welcome to the March edition of Signal Boost. I'm your host, Callie Pruitt, Senior Strategist for Grassroots Advocacy on APS's Government Affairs team, and here's your science policy update. First up are the hot off the presses numbers that APS is asking Congress for regarding funding of the federal science agencies. Immediate relief funding is needed to put the U.S. scientific enterprise on the right path to fully and quickly recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. And sustained, robust funding for the federal science agencies is essential to maintaining the U.S.'s innovative edge in national security, energy security, scientific leadership, and economic prosperity. It's now up to us, the constituents and scientists, to ensure the strength of our research enterprise and ask Congress to prioritize science. APS is asking that members of Congress ensure the vitality of the U.S. scientific ecosystem by first including at least $26 billion in relief funding for the federal science agencies, as outlined in the RISE Act of 2021 in the next COVID-19 recovery bill. And second, prioritizing in appropriations requests robust funding increases for federal science agencies. Specifically, those asks are $7.7 billion for the DOE Office of Science, $10 billion for NSF, $938 million for NIST's Scientific and Technical Research and Services account, and a 6% increase for the DoD Basic Research Organization's budgets. Failing to meet these numbers could result in the loss of several years of research, slow down the innovations that would result from that research, and would enable our competitors to surge past us. In that same vein, the Task Force on American Innovation, a nonpartisan alliance of leading American companies, business associations, research universities, and scientific associations, of which APS is a part of its steering committee, hosted a webinar this month titled Innovation in Crisis, Emerging from a Pandemic to Restore American Competitiveness, that featured our very own APS president, Jim Gates. The briefing featured Dr. Gates, along with other leaders from industry and academia, calling on Congress to prioritize research funding by dramatically increasing investments in science and technology, so the U.S. is well positioned to drive future economic growth through innovation. We have to return to thinking about smart investments for the federal science agencies through annual appropriations processes, said Dr. Gates during the webinar. Let's get our second win and win this race. In addition to research funding, I'm excited today to tell you about a new piece of legislation that APS is supporting and that the Government Affairs team will be working on in the coming months. It's the Supporting Early Career Researchers Act. As you know, the pandemic has resulted in a severe reduction in our nation's research activity, with many of our universities and national labs experiencing a temporary but nearly complete shutdown of research. This bipartisan act aims to help ensure continuity during the early stages of our top researchers' careers. The Pilot Fellowship Program will enable recent PhD graduates and postdocs to conduct independent research for 2 years, allowing them to further develop and/or augment their research skills. These opportunities will not only benefit the awardees, but also their future employers, whether they be in academia, industry, or the national lab system. In addition, it will ultimately strengthen the U.S. research enterprise and contribute to our nation's recovery from the pandemic. In the coming months, our Government Affairs team will be partnering with the APS Forums on Graduate Student Affairs and Early Career Scientists to bring this issue to the forefront of our advocacy operation. Be on the lookout for a call to action coming soon. That's all for this edition of Signal Boost. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.